to say you have a table. Okay, say you have a table of three columns of id, name, and age. Okay, id, name, and age. Here, based on the column index, that is 1, 2, 3, you have to insert the data from the object. Say I have object of id, name, and age. Okay, based on the column index, I have to keep inserting the values every time. Either it is you're using a parameterized query, you have to follow the correct order. So you have to know how your table structure is. When you have a table with three columns, is fine. Imagine you have a table with 20 columns, 30 columns. That time, like writing the query for them is bit hard. That is the reason we will be going, one of the reason that we'll be going to Hibernate and JPA. Okay, so mapping object to rdbms, sorry, rdbms table is tough job. Okay, another one. Whenever you have to interact with a database, you have to follow the 5 steps. You have to follow all the 5 steps. Okay, that is one. The 5 steps are loading and registering. Okay, the next one is establishing connection. Establishing connection. The third one is establishing connection, and the third one is creating statement. Creating statement and issuing the query. Issuing the query or executing the query, you can call it both. Okay, then processing the result. Processing the result. The last step, closing the connection. Okay, so you have to perform all these steps whenever you want to interact with the database. Okay, then another drawback is that foreign key establishment. Foreign key establishment is tough. Is tough. Okay, why? Because you need two tables and you have to know like what is the column name of that another table, and you have to give the reference name and the name for the particular column, and that is very complicated to do. Okay, so if you want another foreign key to be added to your table, then you have to again alter the table, and these things is a pretty hard job using JDBC. So what are the drawbacks? The first thing is that you have to interact, always you have to interact with the SQL queries itself. You have to pass the SQL queries itself. The second drawback is that mapping object to rdbms type table. Okay, mapping an object into a table is a tough job. You have to know what the column index number, and then you have to pass those data based on the index of the column, and based on the data type also, whether it is what type of data it is, what type of the column index of that particular column, everything you should know. That is one drawback, and you have to perform all these steps. You perform you perform the insert operation, you have to perform all these 5 steps. You perform update operation, you have to perform all these 5 steps. Okay, so this is a hectic job. In a program, in a project, you'll be writing hundreds of methods like that, and every methods will have to perform these steps. Whenever you have to interact with the database, you have to perform these 5 steps in order to interact with the database. That is one drawback. And the other drawback is establishing a foreign key connection. It is a tough job, and we have not dealt with um, two tables till now in JDBC because of this issue itself. Okay, but we will establish connection between two tables using Hibernate in a further classes. Okay, so you know the drawbacks now. Next, the solution. How is Hibernate giving us a solution? So, solution. How are we going to get these solution? The first thing I told, SQL queries. SQL queries. Don't worry what is JPA, what is Hibernate. We will know what these are providing us. We will know first. Okay. So the the first issue is we have to deal with SQL queries always. Okay, whether it is insert operation, whether it is update operation, whether it is delete operation, whether it is find operation, you have to always write the query. Okay, here JPA JPA has interface has some interface has some interface provides provides inbuilt methods to perform CRUD operations. Okay. There are inbuilt methods to perform CRUD operations. So we will be calling that methods in order to interact with the database, and we will not be writing the SQL query here. Okay. So JPA will help us do this. Okay. And again, the second thing, our second issue was, what was our second issue that I told you people? Mapping an object into RDBMS table. Okay. Here, our Hibernate will come into action. So Hibernate will map the object into table. Okay, into a particular table, it will directly map it. How it is going to do, we will see it. Okay, so you don't have to know what the table structure is. You will just deal with the objects, and directly Hibernate will create table and insert data, start inserting the data. Okay, and third issue was, what was our third issue? Our third issue was, um, I forgot again. What was our third issue that I said? Five steps. Yeah, five steps. So I told you we have to perform all five steps. Again, our JPA will help us here. JPA provides provides some facility, some facility in the form of, you can say, a key. Okay, in the form of a key. So whenever you use this particular key, you will get the connection to the database in order to interact. So you don't have to worry about getting the connection. They will provide you one key. Okay, I'm just telling key, it is not a code, like it is not the proper word. I'm telling in the normal way, just like you have a locker and this is a key. Okay, to locker called connection, imagine you have a locker called connection, and to open this locker you will be using this key. Okay, this locker is connection, you think. Imagine this locker is a connection. Okay, to get this connection you will use this key, some key they will provide. Using that you can get a connection. Okay, just think so much. They will be providing some key. Using that you'll be getting the connection. You will not be performing all five steps here. Okay, our third issue also got solved. Then our fourth issue was foreign key. Okay, again, Hibernate provides provides some annotations, something called annotations. Okay, something called annotations. What are these annotations? What are they doing? We will discuss. Okay, they are going to provide something called annotations, using which we can achieve relationship between two tables. We can achieve relationship between two tables. Okay, so we had our issue. We had four issues, and these Hibernate JPA and Hibernate and JP are solving these issues. How are they exactly doing? We will just see. First, we will know. We will get to understand what is this Hibernate and JPA. So you got to know until whatever I thought. You got some idea what I was telling till now, guys. Hope you got some idea. Yes. Anyone want to speak? Any questions, guys? Just trying to add a box. Try add a try box itself. Okay. We'll just yeah. So what is this JPA? JPA is an acronym for, I'm just typing for you people so that you can understand clearly. JPA is an acronym for Java Persistence API. Okay. Next, an acronym for Java Persistence API. It is a standard standard specification which is used to interact with the database and Java application. Java application. JPA, sorry, JPA, JPA alone cannot cannot perform all the actions. Actions. Okay. It will require a require an ORM tool to get implementations. Since it is an API, since it is an API, someone has to provide implementation that is provided by an ORM tool. An example is one of the example is Hibernate. Okay, one of the example is Hibernate. Here, Hibernate is a ORM tool tool which helps to map an object into a table. So what is this ORM? ORM, it is a functionality. It is a functionality where it maps an object into a table. Okay, how it is going to map? How it is going to map each each attribute, each attribute or data member in an object, data member in an object is mapped into an is mapped into a column column sorry, column respectively. Okay, so as you can see, a JPG
Shall I stop sharing the screen now? I'll stop sharing the screen now. Okay, so have you people installed Qt app? Okay. So if you're facing any technical issues, please contact the technical team number. Okay. So that's it from HR number. Okay, I'll share it in the broadcast. Please check it out. I'll share the number. Please check it out. Hope you all received. Okay, so that's it from my end, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you so.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Is audible or not?
Yes, yes. But sir is not joined.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Anyone is there in the class?
Sir is not.
Sir is not audible.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Am I audible to you people now?
Yes, sir.
You can hear me, right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. There was some technical problem. I just exited and came back again, so you people can hear me. I was just teaching you guys, and you people were saying you cannot see. Sorry for that. Okay. Yeah, you can see my screen right now. Yeah, yeah, fine. So I was teaching you people about ORM technology, and you people missed it. Let's do it again. Okay. So I was talking about the difference between JPA and Hibernate. Just like we have in JDBC, JDBC is a API and a class provided from the what MySQL people will provide the implementation for our JDBC. Just like that, here also there is a JPA technology where it is just an API. It is a Java persistence API, and you have to pass the implementation to this JPA. It is just a set of specifications. Okay, it is just a set of specifications to which an ORM tool has to pass the implementation, and there are multiple ORM tools available. One of them is Hibernate. There is a ORM tool called Toplink, ORM Lite, Ibatis. There are many ORM tools. Okay, one of the ORM tool that is mostly used and widely used is Hibernate, and we will be learning about Hibernate in this session. Okay, and Hibernate is Hibernate, as I told, is a ORM tool. And what is a ORM tool? An ORM tool is a uh, is a some is a software, you can say a application that follows a ORM technology. ORM technology is nothing but it is a functionality that maps an object into a table. So we will understand how this ORM technology is working. Okay. So as you can see here, say you have an object person. This is a class. Okay. You have a class person and its object having attributes such as ID, name, and age. Okay. Then you say this ID is a primary key. Consider this ID as a primary key. And now, if you have to map this object into a table in normal SQL, while writing SQL, you have to know the placeholders of each column. Okay. You have to know the column index of each column, and you have to insert the data based on the data type. You have to know what is the data type, and then based on the data type and based on the column index value, we have to pass the data. Okay, here we don't have that thing. We will just give our object to the Hibernate. We will just give the object to the Hibernate, and Hibernate, having ORM technology, will map it into a table. So how it is going to map? Say you have a ID column which is a primary key, and every time, whichever it is the primary key, whichever an ID is if whichever attribute is a primary key, that particular attribute will be mapped into a first column, that is ID. It will be attribute name and your column name will be exactly same. So you have an attribute or a data member called ID. Your first column will become ID if it is a primary key. Here my ID is a primary key. Okay. Next, you will have another two attributes or data members called as name and age. Okay. So other than the primary key, the following data types, maybe 20, maybe there are 20 attributes. All those 20 attributes will be mapped based on the alphabetical order. So in the alphabetical order, age will be the second column, age will be the second column here. Then name will become the third column, and the data that you have passed, the data that you have passed will be mapped into a particular row, mapped into a particular single row. So I have id equals 1 here, name equals xyz, and age equals 25. It will be mapped into a particular column. And say now you have another, you save another person object with same attribute, same class object you'll be saving with different attributes, id equals 2 and the name equals ram something and age equals 30. It will be mapped into a second column to, sorry, this is age column, this is should be 25 and this should be xyz. Okay, then age will be taken and assigned here, and name ram will be assigned here. Okay, so based on the particular column, it will be mapped into a particular row. Okay, so whichever whatever the data you are passing, these data will be mapped into a particular row in a table. Okay, say you are passing another data that is 3 sam and 35, that will be mapped into another single row that is 3, sorry, this is age 35 and sam. Okay, in this way you will be adding the data, but you will not be directly adding the data, you will not be knowing the what is the column, the table structure, how it is. You will not at all worry at all. Okay, this orm tool will help you to do this. Okay, so how it is exactly doing, we'll just see. Okay, we'll just see in the practical session, we'll be learning along there only. Okay, we will come back to our Eclipse. We'll create a new project. Guys, until today, we were creating Java project. We were creating a simple Java project, but from today, we will be going to Maven project. I'll be telling you what is this Maven project. I should have introduced you first only before telling about the ORM tools. It's okay. I'll be telling it now. Okay. So go here and search for something called Maven project. I hope you people are following. We will be doing the practical session now. You'll be understanding more in depth. Okay, so click on click on Maven project, and you should get a tab like this. Say create a simple project. Okay, just say create a simple project. Hope you people are following. Okay, create a simple project. People done? Be a bit fast, guys. Don't worry, Rupini. You will be understanding these things. Okay, you will be understanding these things while doing practicals itself. You don't need to have a in-depth what theoretical knowledge. I just gave you an outlook what it is doing. I hope you're following. I can't wait for long times for you people. Okay, so click on create a simple project. If you're late, please write down the steps. Okay, okay, then say next. Now now you have to give something called group id and artifact id. Okay, something called group id and artifact id. Sneha, you can come and speak. Don't give this small
So,
abbreviations of your text. Yeah, ask me.
so please repeat this.
Which one, Sneha? If you say repeat, which one should I
New
understand?
Maven
What you want me
project.
to repeat? Okay. I've never muted you people. Okay, just go to new people. Sorry, just click on file. You know these things. Go to other and type Maven. Okay, go to other and type Maven and click on Maven project. Here you select create a simple project. If you people are slow, please write down the steps. Okay, so create a simple project and say next. Okay, then you have to give something called group id and artifact id. This group id and artifact id will be making your project unique. Okay, so you can give group id anything you want. I'll just give as com.py dot um hibernate batch class. Hibernate batch. Okay. Then I'll be giving my artifact ID. Whatever the artifact ID you will be giving will be your project name. I'm repeating once again, whatever the artifact ID you'll be giving will be your project name. Okay. I'm giving as batch 7, batch 7 Hibernate. Okay, batch 7 Hibernate. I'll just say finish. That's it. Now you can, if you can see at the end here, my project, my Maven project is getting built. My Maven project is built now. I'll just open this project and you should see the file structure like this: Java resources, test Java, the resources folder, and your src here. Everything you should be finding here. Okay. Okay, hope you people are following. uh, why we need Maven project? Okay, let me tell that. So if you can see the structure of our normal Java project, okay, it is not properly structured. Okay, here if you can see, what you can see here, src main Java, here this particular source, so this particular path will be holding your main Java project files. Okay, project packages you can tell. Okay, so all the packages that you're going to create, you will be creating in this path, src main Java. And what you can see here, src main resources, whatever you need in order to um, all the resources, external resources, what are the external resources, we'll be getting to know. Okay, all the resources that we need, we will be adding in this src main resources path. And you can see here src test Java, src test resources. This particular two paths will be used to test your application, okay, by the testing people. Okay, and you can see your src, and another file structure is there. So in order to get the proper meaningful file structure, you will be using Maven project. And another main thing is you will be having something called pom.xml. Until now I taught you how to import a jar file. Okay, how to import a jar file by going to build path and order and export. You will be going to libraries and adding the external jar file. That is what I taught you. Okay, from now onwards we will be using pom.xml. Pom.xml, there is something called, in pom.xml there is a tag called dependencies. Okay, if you can see here, there is a tag called dependencies. What are the dependencies? Whatever the jar files that you need in order to build your application, you will be adding it here in the form of dependency. Okay, so if you add a dependency tag, that dependency tag will be downloading you internally a jar file into your um, libraries. So how it is going to do, we will see. Okay, so say I have a dependencies tag now. I opened a dependencies tag. Now I can just write a dependency here. Okay, I can add a dependency here. What is the jar file that we used to do? That we used to um, like import in order to get a MySQL connection, guys? What was the jar file name? Jar file name. Jar file name. We were using in order to get the connection to the database, or in order to get that particular package
So MySQL
com.mysql.html.
connector.
MySQL
What
connector.
was the jar file name?
MySQL connector.
J. MySQL connector J.
Connect.
Okay. So there is something called artifact ID. I told you. This particular MySQL connector J is also having its artifact ID. That is MySQL MySQL connector connector J itself. Okay. You can see here MySQL connector J option. If you click on it, you will get the complete dependency for your MySQL connector J, and the version that I'm going to use is 3.1. Okay, please look at my screen now. At this part, you should look at this part. You can see my cursor, I think. Look at this part. As soon as I click on save this form.xml, the jar file is downloaded. Before, I didn't have this Maven dependencies path. Okay, if I open this Maven dependencies, you will get something called MySQL connector J downloaded directly. So this is what your dependency tag is doing. Okay, sir, I don't know to write this and all. It's okay. You just have to go to your Maven repository I just showed you how it is happening here. Okay, I just explicitly wrote the dependency and showed you how it is happening. You can get these dependencies directly from the Maven repository itself. So all of you open your browser. All of you open your browsers. Here, go to Maven repository. Okay, go to Maven repository. Hope you people are following. If you're not following, just write down the steps what I'm doing. Okay, so yeah, so you have to search for MySQL connector. As usual, you have learned in while learning JDBC. Just search for MySQL connector, and you get something called MySQL connector j/j. Just get inside and select the 8.0.31 version. Okay, and here you can see a dependency that I have written there. Okay, I just copied this dependency. Now you can just copy this dependency and just you can paste it over here. That's it. That's it. So now, in order to deal with Hibernate, Hibernate also provides a jar file. In order to get that particular jar file from Hibernate, we will be adding the Hibernate dependency also. So the dependency that is for Hibernate is something called, note down this guys, it's very important, Hibernate core relocation. Okay, Hibernate core relocation. This is the particular dependency that we are going to use in order to get the Hibernate jar file. We will not be going for the six versions. Okay, there are six versions, sixth version already. We will not be going for the sixth version because they are under, like they are getting optimized. Even now they are getting optimized. That is why we are going for the 5.6.14 version that is used by almost 141 people. Okay, highest used version, that is why we are going to 5.6.14 final version. We'll just click on it and we will get this tab. Here we have our dependency for the Hibernate core. Okay, so what is the Hibernate telling? The group ID is org.hibernate, artifact ID is Hibernate core, and the version is 5.6.14. So as soon as you add this dependency, I've copied this dependency, now I'll be adding it here again. Okay, okay, as you can see here, I have a MySQL dependency and a Hibernate dependency. As soon as I've added Hibernate dependency, you can see there are so many jar files that got downloaded. Okay, I'll just use a magnifier and show you what are we using here.
Sir, can you repeat the second dependency? How to, like, what should we search for second dependency?
Hibernate core relocation. Type in your Maven dependency search bar Hibernate core relocation. You will be getting a suggestion called Hibernate core relocation. Okay, that is why I told you people to follow along. Okay, so you will get something like this: Hibernate core relocation. You can see. Can you see? Okay. Hope you people are seeing. Hibernate core relocation. Click on it, you will get this particular tab and you will get this particular list of versions that are present in Hibernate. Okay, so we will be using the 5.6.14 version. Okay, don't go to the newer versions because they are still in a building process. Okay, so they can show some errors, so we will be using the one that is mostly used by the people, that is 5.6.14 version. Just click on the version and you'll get this particular tab and you'll get a dependency. Just click on that dependency and the dependency will get copied. You just come back to your form.xml and paste it over here. Just paste it over here. Okay, just save it and your Hibernate dependencies are getting downloaded. Once they are downloaded, you can see here there is a number of jar files that got downloaded in order to use Hibernate. Okay, so what are these jar files and which one exactly we'll be using, we'll tell you. Okay, focus guys. So you can see here Hibernate core. This is the jar file that we will be using. We will not be using this implicitly. It will be used implicitly by our JPA itself. Okay, so what is JPA? Our JPA is also got downloaded here. Can you see here Java X activation, sorry, Java X persistence API. Okay, this is the JPA that we are going to use, JPA package. Okay, so in this we will be using this particular package, Java X dot persistence package. Okay, can you see here, guys? As soon as you downloaded the my Hibernate, you even got the JPA, because this Hibernate will be providing the implementation to this JPA itself. Okay, that is why it will download the prerequisites, that is our Java persistence API jar file. Okay, so this, in this particular Java X.persistence API, we will be having a package called Java X.persistence. This is the particular package we will be using along the process of interacting with the database. Are you people clear with what I've said till now? How we will be using, I'll tell you, don't get confused. Are you people clear which is the package we are going to use, and what are the packages that we got in order to deal with Hibernate? We will be using this particular package mainly. Okay, and internally this particular package will be using this package, Hibernate core. That's it. Okay, now let us create a simple class, a person class. Okay, let us create a simple person class. Let us go to our src main Java. We'll create a new class. We'll create a new class with a package name, say hibernate, hibernate dot demo one, demo one package. And the class I'm going to create is a person. Okay, the class I'm going to create is a person. Just finish. Okay, now I got my person class. What will person have? Usually, what are the attributes that are? Yes, whenever you create a new project, you have to have add the dependency for that particular project. Okay, so what are the attributes that are there in a person? Usually, it is a ID. Yes, usually it is a private will say int ID. Will just, guys, when you are naming a particular class, you have to use proper naming conventions. Okay, so I will use person ID. I'll be specific with the attributes that I'm mentioning. Okay, I will say if it is a person class, I'll be saying person ID in a camel case. Okay, so private string, this is how you should name your attributes. Okay, person name. Okay, then private, we'll say string only, we'll take email, private string, person email. Okay, these are the three attributes. And obviously, in order to set the values to these private attributes, we have to have our getters and setters. We will generate getters and setters. Okay, I generated the getters and setters here. Now I'll just save this. Now I want to save this particular person. I have a blueprint of my class. Okay, I have a blueprint of my object. A class is a blueprint. I have a blueprint now. I want to create object for this person class and save this objects into database. How am I going to do that? Let me create a DAO class. Okay, I will just say new class. I will say class name as person DAO. I'll just say a person class, person DAO. Okay, I'll be giving you some time to do these things. Just follow along. I'll give you some time so you can code this. Okay, person DAO. Now I want to save a person object here. Okay, I have to create a person object in order to save a person object. But before that, I have to get the connection to the database, right? In order to save the object, I have to get the connection to the database. As I told, we will not be using the 5 steps that we used in JDBC, but there are something different here. Okay, our JPA provides something called entity manager factory. Okay, entity manager factory, when here we will just declare a variable of entity manager factory. This is an interface. Basically, entity manager factory is an interface, and it will have we have to create an object of another class which is implementing this entity manager factory and assign to this entity manager factory. Okay, so we have a helper class here called persistence. We have a helper class called persistence. It is having a method, as you can see the suggestion over here. It is saying create entity manager factory. The return type is entity manager factory. Okay, we'll just select this. Okay, the return type of entity manager factory is a entity manager factory. And as you can see here, it is taking a parameter. What is it asking? Persistence unit name. What is this persistence unit name? I'll be telling you soon, but let us give some name here. Okay, I'll give one name. Let's say Sigma. Okay, I've given one name as Sigma. Okay, I will tell you what is this persistence unit name. What I'm passing here is a persistence unit name. Okay, what is this persistent unit? I'll tell you. Okay, so when you write this particular step, you will be performing the load and register and get connection directly. Okay, now you have performed loading and registering registering and connection step here. Okay, this particular entity manager factory taking a particular unit name as Sigma. As I told you before, I gave an example of a locker. Hope you people remember. I gave an example of a locker, and we will be using some key in order to unlock that locker. Okay, what that locker is providing? A connection to the database. Think there is some locker provided by Java Persistence API, that is JPA, and we need a key. This Sigma is a key. How this Sigma is a key, I will tell you later. Okay, just imagine I'm getting a connection and register. I'll be loading and registering and getting a connection at this particular step. Next, I have something called sorry have something called entity manager. Okay, I have something called entity manager. Okay, yeah, as you can see, everything I'm importing from Java x.persistence package itself. Okay, entity manager is also provided by Java X persistence package, and it is an interface again. Okay, I'll just declare a variable em, and the object for this interface will be provided by this entity manager factory. Okay, entity manager factory object I'll be calling, and it has a method called create entity manager. Okay, next, I have got entity manager um, what object, what this entity manager object is holding. Entity manager entity manager provides set of methods. What are these methods? So methods such as persist, methods such as persist, will take object O as a parameter, which will take a object as parameter. This persist method, it is used to save the data, save the object, you can tell. Okay, this persist method is used to save the object to the database. Next, it will be giving us another method called as merge. This will also be taking an object as a parameter, and it will help us to update a data. Okay, whenever you're updating a data, you will use this particular method. Okay, update the data, used to update the data. Next, we have another method called find. Okay, this find method will be taking your class name as a parameter. Say class name and class name and a primary key of that particular class. Primary key of that particular class. How is this class having will be having a primary key? I'll tell you. Okay, So we have another method called remove. This will also be accepting a object as a parameter. It will help us to delete delete object from the database. Okay, and this particular method will be helping us to find a particular object. When I'm saying object, it is the data that is present in table. Okay, don't get confused again. Yeah. So you got to know what is entity manager providing. Entity manager is basically providing four methods such as persist, which is used to save, such as merge, that is used to update, such as find, that is used to find a particular object, and that is such as remove, that is used to delete a particular object. How are we going to do these operations? We will learn. Okay. So again, we have something called entity transaction. Why is this entity transaction used? You have a connection to the database, but you have to inform the database that I am going to interact with you. Okay, then once you finish interacting, you have to tell the database that I am going to stop interacting with you. That particular operation is done by this entity transaction interface. Okay, it has certain methods. I'll be telling you what are those methods, but since it is an interface, we have to provide an object for this object from entity manager. Em is going to provide a method for us in order to get an object for the entity transaction. The method is get transaction. The return type of this get transaction method is the return type of a get transaction method is entity transaction. Okay, entity transaction is a return type of get transaction method. It is a non-parameterized method. So what is this particular interface is going to provide is basically first thing, it is used to begin and end the transaction. Okay. Transaction between the okay, transaction with the database. Okay, so it is going to provide methods such as begin. Okay, these are non-parameterized methods used to begin transaction of data, transaction of data to database. Okay, then we have another method called as commit. Okay, this particular method used to end the transaction with the database. Okay, so you know now what this particular entity manager and entity transaction is doing. First thing, this particular step is going to give you the connection to the database. After getting connection, in order to interact with the database, you will be using this entity manager object, that is entity manager of type entity manager interface. Then in order to begin and end the transaction between the database, we will be using something called entity object of, we'll be using an object of entity transaction type. You people clear? Who are having issues, please come up and speak. I just told you what is the use of entity manager, guys. It is going to provide us methods. Okay. See, entity manager is an interface. Okay, I'll just open the interface itself and show you. Okay. So if you open the declaration of an entity manager, can you see here? This is the interface entity manager that is internally present in the jar file, javax.persistence jar file. As you can see here, the package is javax.persistence, and it has a interface called entity manager. Here there is a method called persist, which is taking object as a parameter, and there is a method called remove, which I told, which is these are all abstract methods in citizen interface. And you have a method called find, which is taking an entity class and object primary key as a parameter. Hope you people got it. Why we are using entity manager? This entity manager is having methods such as persist, merge, remove, find. To use these particular methods, we will be getting the object of this particular entity manager. Okay, then to begin the transaction with the database and end the transaction with the database, I already told you database is a costly resource. You can't keep the connection on to the database because a third party person can access that connection and get your data from the database. Okay, when you're building an application, your database is the most secure part, and you have to what secure that. In order to do that, you will be using this entity transaction interface. It will be providing us few methods. You can see here, if I open the declaration of entity transaction, it has two methods, such as public void begin and public void commit. Okay, using these methods, we will be beginning the transaction and ending the transaction with the database. Okay, so this is how you usually create an object of person. Okay, fine. So we have everything that we want in order to interact with the database. Now let us create an object of person. My voice is not audible to you people. Am I? Sorry. Am I audible to you people, guys? Janathan, am I audible to you? You told I'm not audible. Okay, okay. There must be a network issue in your side. Just look at it, because most of them are saying yes, they can hear, and some of them are saying you cannot hear. Maybe it is because of a network issue. So let us continue. So our task now is to save the object into database. Okay. Now I will just, okay, fine. Now I'll just create a person. Okay. I'll just create a object of person. I'll just say the name as person itself and new person. Okay, this is how you usually create an object. And how do you set values to the object? Just call the person object and say, okay, sorry guys, sorry. We have to have a main method. We'll just have a main method. Okay, so we have a main method. I forgot to add the main method. Sorry for that. Okay, we'll create a person object. Person equals new person. I created a person object. Now I'll be assigning the values to this person object. So person dot set id, I will say 101. Okay, then now person dot set name, set name, set person name, sorry, set person name, that is say usually Ram I use. Okay, then person dot set email, our last attribute, just say some email, random email, and just say ram at gmail.com. Okay, so I have set the values to this person object. Now you have to save this person object. So as I told you, in order to transaction to this database, I have to save this data, this person object into database. So if I have to save the database, first I have to begin the transaction. So I'll just call this object et. Okay, object of entity transaction, and say begin. Okay, this particular method will begin the transaction with a database. Okay, then I have a object of entity manager type. I told you this entity manager has a method called persist, which is used to save the data. I have passed my person object here. This person object here This person object is the one that I have created here. Okay, I'm just passing this person object into this persist method. This persist method, what it will do, it will it will save the data to database. Okay, it will save the data to database. Okay, then after doing my operation, I have to close this connection or I have to end the transaction. That is why we use this commit method. Okay, so this is all we do in order to insert the data. Before, when we are using JDBC, what all we used to do in order to save data, we have to load and register, we have to get the connection, we have to create statement, we have to execute the query, all these steps. Nothing, these three steps will perform everything that you need here. Okay, you just have to have these three connections before, these three implemented interfaces before doing these operations. That's it. Okay, now these three steps will perform everything that we want, that is inserting the operation. Okay, now what I'll do, I will try to run. Okay, I'll try to run, I'll try to insert the data. I'll just say run on server, and you can see there should, oh sorry, you should run as application. Okay, run as Java application, and you can see there is an exception called Java X persistence exception, and you can see the message here, no persistence provider for entity manager named Sigma. Okay, I have given the name Sigma or in my entity manager factory, but it is saying there is no persistence provider. So what is this persistence provider? It is asking for some persistence provider with the name Sigma. Okay, I have passed the name Sigma, but it is saying this Sigma is of a persistence provider. Who is this persistence provider? Who is why it is saying no persistence provider is because before passing this value, as you can see, when I took this particular class, okay, I'll just, I hover on this particular class, just a minute. Okay. If I hover on this particular class, it is asking for a persistence unit name, the name of the persistence unit. Okay, what is this persistence unit? We'll get to know now. So in order to save the data into database, first of all, in order to get the connection to the database, you need something called persistence. Okay, we have an XML file, an XML, just like pom.xml is a configuration file, we have to create another XML file that is called persistence.xml file. I'll just come here to our whiteboard and just tell about this persistence.xml file now. Okay, so a persistence, okay, so we have to create a XML file called persistence.xml file. Okay, you have to name it as persistence XML file because your Hibernate only understands this file. Okay, your Hibernate will only understand this file. That is why you have to name it as persistence.xml. And this file should be created inside a folder called meta-inf. Okay, why, sir? Why only meta-inf? This is because it is pre-configured. These things are pre-configured by JPA and Hibernate itself. It should be the name such as meta inf. Okay. Now you have to create a folder called meta inf, and you have to create a file called persistent.xml file inside it. Okay. Where you have to create meta inf folder, you have to create it. Just a minute. You have to create it inside a resources folder. Resources folder. Okay, there is a folder called resources. Inside this you will be creating this meta-inf folder, and inside this meta-inf folder you will be creating a persistence.xml file. Okay, what is this persistence xml file? It is just a configuration file. Configuration file. Okay, it is just a configuration file that accepts the value in the form of tags. Okay, that accepts or that understands the tag language. Okay, you have heard about HTML tags. Here also we'll be writing tags in order to interact with our in order to pass data in our XML file. Okay, so what is this data that we are going to pass in our XML file is we'll be having something called property tag. Okay, we'll be having a property tag. This property tag will be in a name and value pair. Okay, it contains a name, some name that can be understood. This particular name should be specifically the name that is and that is being understood by Hibernate. Specifically the name that JPA or Hibernate understands. What is that name? I'll tell you. Okay. So it should be a name that Hibernate or JPA understands. Okay. What is that name? I'll be giving you. Okay. Next, we have to, inside this tag, we have to pass a value. For this name, we have to pass a value, say some value. Which value I'll be telling. And then you have to close this property tag. Okay, property tag. So you will be passing some value related to your connection. In order to get the connection to the database, you will be passing your value inside this particular tag. Okay, now I have closed this tag, and you'll be having multiple properties tag like this. I'll be writing in short. You'll be having multiple properties tag like this. Okay, say these are property tags are having name and value pair. Okay, I'm not writing these things, value, name, and all here. Don't get confused for that also. Okay. Now, now, okay. Now, these property tags will be enclosed in a tag called properties. Okay. All these property tags will be enclosed in a tag called properties. Okay, you'll be enclosing all these properties. What are these properties? I'll be telling you. Imagine there are certain properties that you are going to pass in a name and value pair, and you'll be enclosing these property tags inside a properties tag. Okay, and these properties tag will be enclosed in a tag called persistence unit. Persistence unit. They'll be enclosed in a tag called persistence persistence unit. Okay, maybe my battery is down. 1 minute, guys. Yeah. Okay. So I'll continue just a minute. Yeah. So you got to know there is something called persistence unit here. Okay. This particular tag is is enclosing a properties tag here. Okay. What this purple persistent unit has at okay, sorry. Guys. Okay. This persistence unit has a attribute called name. Okay, has an attribute called name. Say this name is sigma. So you may got the idea why I have passed the name sigma in my create entity manager factory method. Okay, this was the name that I passed over there. Okay, you can change this name. Okay, so what is this persistent unit giving is a connection to database. But how it is going to give? It is going to give because say the name is URL. Okay, you will be passing multiple values. Okay, in a name value pair. So when a name is URL, you will be passing the URL of database. Okay, and another property username here. Okay, you'll be passing username in another property, and another property you'll be passing password. Okay, everything in order to get the connection to the database, that is URL, password, and username. And driver also will be passing in another property tag here. Okay, we'll be passing our driver class, we'll be passing our URL database URL, we'll be passing our username, we'll be giving our password. All these will be inside a property, each property tag, and these property tag will be enclosed in a properties tag. Okay, these properties tag, this properties tag is enclosed in a persistent unit tag. This persistent unit has a name called sigma. You can now tell this as a locker, and this sigma is a key to unlock this locker. Okay, is a key to unlock this locker. So whenever you unlock this locker, you get a connection. Okay, whenever you use this key, you are going to get a connection to the database. That is why we will be just imagine one project and one single connection. Okay, for a whole project, this will be the connection provider, and whenever you need a connection, you will just say entity manager factory equals emf equals persistence dot create entity manager, and you'll be passing this sigma over there, and it will give you a connection. You don't have to say load and register, you don't have to say connect, give connection, anything here. Okay, it will give you a connection. And in order to interact with the database, you have two interfaces, that is entity manager and entity transaction. Did you got what is this persistent xml? I'll be sharing you a code for this persistent.xml file. It is usually pre-configured, and you don't have to worry how to type this. You don't have to type this or anything. It is pre-configured, you will get it on internet. I'll be sharing this code in a codeshare.io website now. Just use it. Okay. So I have this somewhere in my. Just a minute. Mhm. Yeah. I'll be sharing the persistent.xml file in your in a code in a codeshare.io. Here you can just use it to do somewhere here. I'll share this to you people, you'll get confused. It's okay. I'll tell you how to add this into your persistent.xml file. Just copy this, whatever I'm saying. Uh, Whatever I'm sending now, I'll be sending the link here in the broadcast. Oh, happened. Oh, why? Okay. Everyone are not in Discord, guys? I cannot share like that. I'll be sharing you my GitHub link itself, so you can get it from there. Okay, I'll be pasted in broadcast itself. Nice idea. I just copied. Just take this. Where's my broadcast? It's here. Yeah. So just copy this. Syntax will get messed up. I know, guys. Just copy this. I'll tell you. Okay, whatever. Of course, I don't think that will work. Oh, what is we paste? Okay, whatever. I'll be sharing my GitHub link. I'll tell you how to uh, get that particular persistent.xml file here. Okay. sharing the GitHub link of mine. Okay, so just go there and copy that code, complete code. Okay, this is my GitHub link. Just copy the complete code. Okay, coming coming back to our application here. Hope you people, I'll give you some time. Do it. Just go and copy. Once you're done copying, just say you've done. Okay. Which time do we have more? We'll be doing the insert operation today. It's getting a little bit late, I know. Okay, most of them copied. So guys, follow up here. We have very less time today. I'll be showing the CRUD operation. So here, coming back to our Eclipse, you have a file path called src main resources. I'm repeating, src main resources. Okay, right click on it and create a new folder, new plain folder. Okay, new folder. Don't go to anything else. You are going to create a new folder inside the path src main resources. Okay, the folder name should be in caps meta inf, in caps meta inf. It should not be wrong, guys. If it is one spelling wrong, it is not going to work. Okay, it should be meta inf, meta hyphen inf. Okay, meta hyphen inf. The file name, folder name should be meta hyphen inf. Just finish. So now I have created a meta hyphen inf folder. Right click on the folder and say new, go to other. Okay, go to other and xml file. You get an option called xml file. I'm not going to repeat. Follow up. There is something called xml file. Write it down if you're going if you're getting late or your computer is slow. So you go to xml file and say next. Okay, just give a name to your xml file. I will, and the name should be exactly in smaller case persistence. Okay, in smaller case persistence. Okay, your name for xml file name should be persistence itself, persistence. The spelling should be correct and it should be in a smaller case, persistence. Okay, persistence. Then just say finish. Okay, now you have created a persistence.xml file. You should get something like this. Okay, you should get something like this. Hope you got it. Now I'll just copy the code from my GitHub. I'll just copy my code from my GitHub. I'll be copying this one only for your people. You should understand that's why. Okay. I'm just copying this and coming back here on my Eclipse. I'll just paste this. Okay. I'll just paste this. As I told you here, there are multiple property tag. There are multiple property tag. Hope you people can see there are multiple property tag, and property tag 1 is taking is giving, okay, is having a name. What is the name? Java x.persistence.jdbc.driver. This particular property tag is asking for your driver class name. Okay, fully qualified driver class name. So in a value attribute, I am going to pass my fully qualified class name that is called mysql me the URL of my database, and I will be passing I will whatever name you are going to give your database name, just this is my database What are these properties tag? Here something called hibernate.showSQL. When you want to execute a Hibernate query, I want it to print on my SQL. I want to print my SQL query in the console. I'm not going to write SQL query, but I'm saying Hibernate to create that SQL query and print it on my console. I'm just saying value as true. It will print it will print the SQL queries on console. We will see when when we execute the um, what our up what our class, okay, DAO class. Then we have another property called hibernate hmd or something auto, okay. This is what it is telling is, it is asking me, boss, whether I should enable updating this project. Yes, I want to update this project. I mean, whatever the data I will be inserting in the database, I will want to update that data. For that, you have to say update. You have to give the value as update. It is already done. You don't have to worry. No, what trainers will be explaining Java or Java extra. What I know, no trainers in whole JSPED or anywhere, they will not be explaining this persistent.xml, guys. I'm only the one who is explaining. Even my trainers didn't explain, to be honest. Okay. Okay. Okay, you just have to say update. What you're specifying here is just you're enabling the updating process. I'm just telling my Hibernate that yes, I want to update my data in the future. Then my Hibernate has something called dialect. You don't have to worry. Yeah, it will be auto configured. There is something called dialect, and its address is given here. Okay, and its address is given here. That's it. And these properties are enclosed in a properties tag, and these properties is enclosed in a persistence unit tag, and I have given a persistence unit as sigma over there. Okay, I have given a persistence unit name as sigma, so only I'm passing the name as sigma here. So whatever the name I'm giving here, the persistent unit name will become the key to unlock this connection. Okay, to get a connection, this name will be the key for us. So whenever I want a connection to the database, I'll be using this key. This is a one-time configuration. Whenever you once you configure this, you will be using along with your whole project this one. Okay. Okay, fine. Now my persistence.xml file is ready. Okay, now I'll be using this name, persistent unit name, here in my entity manager factory. Okay, you get to understand now how this entity manager factory is getting us a connection. This is taking a persistent unit name. This is taking a persistent unit name and getting us a connection. Or with that connection, we will be getting a entity manager object and entity transaction object. With this entity manager object, we will do persist, merge, find, remove, in the sense save, update, find, and delete. Okay, we have the method names are different here. Persist will do saving operation, merge will do updating operation, find will do finding operation, remove will do deleting operation. And in order to begin the transaction with the database, we will be using begin and commit. I have shown you here how we'll be using. So now we have a persistence provider. What did the error tell? No persistence provider. I have created a persistence provider now, okay, with the name sigma. Let us try to run this project and we'll see what is the output that we are going to get. Okay, now we have another exception. It is telling illegal argument, unknown entity. My Hibernate is telling, boss, you are passing some entity, but I don't know what is this entity. Entity means object. I'm passing a person object here. Say that is from here, you can see I'm passing a person object, but my Hibernate doesn't know which is that person object. Okay, you will be creating hundreds of classes in a project, and but Hibernate will not know which is this particularly a person object. I have to specify this is the entity class that I'm going to use. That is the reason we will be using an annotation called add rate. Okay, it is from javax.persistence.entity. Okay, it is from a package javax.persistence package. We'll be importing this entity annotation, and this entity annotation will specify Hibernate that this is the particular class I want to create the table. What this entity annotation is telling, it is just telling that telling that is just specifying. I'm just adding connection so that when you take when I'm adding comments, because when you take a screenshot you can get complete information at home. Okay, specifying that this is the entity class class for which table has to be table has to be created. Okay, I'm just specify using this annotation. I'm just specifying that this is the particular class that I want to create a table. Okay, next, my Hibernate knows now that this is the particular class that I'm going to create a table. Okay, let us run this now. Okay, now we have another problem. It is telling annotation exception, no identifier. It is telling now it has another problem. Can you create a table without primary key? You should must have a primary key in a table. That is a condition. Okay, but how is my Hibernate knowing? I told these all three attributes are mapped into columns, but how is my Hibernate knowing that which is the column that is going to be primary key? No idea. Hibernate has no idea which is the column that has to be primary key. I have to specify which is going to be a primary key. Okay, that is why we will be annotating with at the right id. There is an annotation called at the rate id, whichever which on above whichever column, whichever attribute I'm going to annotate at the rate id, that particular id, that particular attribute is going to be primary key. Say I don't want to make id as a primary key. I want to make the name itself as primary key. Okay, just annotate this over above the whichever attribute you want to make a primary key. If I annotate above person name will become primary key, but this is not a good practice, because always you have to use um, integer values. Say int or float or double, anything you take, but you have to use a numerical value as a primary key. That is a good practice. Okay, so you can add n number of data. String is limited. String is limited and complicated also to create primary keys. Okay, so I'll just say this is the primary key I want in my table. Now let us run this project and see. Okay, hope you can see here I specified my Hibernate to print the SQL queries, and you can see a parameterized SQL query is generated by my Hibernate. What is it saying? Insert into person. Person is my table name. As whatever my class name would be, the same would be the table name. Okay, my class name is person. A table name is created as person. See, it is written the query for creating person also. Create table person ID of integer, not null constraint, and personal person email of varchar 255 characters, and person name of varchar 255 characters. A primary key is person id. Okay, and engine is InnoDB. It is just a Hibernate thing, don't worry. Okay, and here a insert operation is done. Insert into person email, person name, person id. The values are placeholder. It is a parameterized query. Okay, dynamic query. Okay, so let us see if this person data 101 ram@gmail.com is inserted into our database or not. Okay, we'll just go to our where is my, okay, I think I've closed my database. Okay, it's open. Okay, so now I will just refresh this. Okay, I will just refresh my database. I'll just zoom it for you people. Before, I didn't have this particular database. Okay, what was my database name that I've given? Batch person. Okay, I've given the name batch person over there, and a batch person database is being created. I said create a database if not existed. Okay, then there is a table already created that is called person. As I said, let's open this person table and see the name, the id. whatever I have given, it has been inserted. And as I told, the primary key will be the first column. Okay, person ID is a primary key and it is a first column. Then see, my attributes that I've given in my object is name is first and email is second. As you can see here, it has been placed, it has been what created in a alphabetical order. E comes first before N. That is why email is being specified first, that then Ram, oh sorry, name is being specified, and this is default and you cannot change it. Okay, Hibernate will save the data in alphabetical order itself. Only the primary key will be the first column. Next, whatever the columns you add, it will be based on the alphabetical order. Okay, so you got to know how we can perform the add operation, that is using persist method. And other configurations that I done using the persistent.xml file is just once done for the whole project. You're not going to do again. Okay, today it may be felt that is heavy, but once you do other operations, you get to know that you're coding very less in terms of Hibernate. Okay, so any doubts, guys?
Sir,
Yes.
sir,
I
we
cannot
need
hear you, whoever is speaking.
sir, Janardhan, sir,
Sorry.
can you hear
I
me, sir?
cannot. Yeah, Jonathan.
Sir,
Yes.
yes, sir. Sir, we use JDBC or Hibernate, sir, for next project, sir. Next means what? For still
We will
today
be using
onwards.
Hibernate. I'm sorry.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Hibernate is used
We
for
will be using
Hibernate.
Hibernate.
Okay, sir. Oh, JDBC is
See,
for only
Hibernate.
introduction, sir.
See, Hibernate is using JDBC internally. Okay.
Okay,
You are
sir.
going to perform get connection, all these things internally. It is happening. That is why you are providing all those attributes. Okay. Hibernate is a
That.
framework which will reduce your code. Okay, it is a
Oh, okay,
framework which
okay,
is
sir.
used to reduce your code. Reducing your boilerplate codes. Okay, again and again you are repeating the same things right over there. You have to get the. That is why I told the drawbacks of JDBC.
Yes,
That
sir.
is the
Yes, sir.
reason in the introduction I told you about the drawbacks of JDBC and why we have to move for the Hibernate. Hibernate is internally using JDBC itself. Hibernate and JPA, they are using internally JDBC itself. Okay.
Yes, sir. In
Without JDBC, you
persistence.xml.
cannot do this one.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
In Hibernate,
Yes.
in persistence.xml, we use JDBC concepts. Driver loading, registering. What is that connection?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
In persistent XML, we will be specifying everything that we need to get a connection. Okay. There you get to get a connection. We used to say, we used to pass the URL database name, whatever the username is, and we used to give whatever the driver class we have. Here also we done the same thing. In persistent.xml file, we pass that values.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and we will have a persistent unit name. This unit name will act as a key. Whenever you want a connection, it will give you. You call that key, it will give you the connection. Okay,
Okay.
you don't have
Sir,
to say get connection. You don't have to say load and register.
oh yes, sir. Sir, and then another query, sir. Sir, we use
Yes.
getter and setter, sir. In getter and setter, we use that name is put it into the database. Means
Sorry, sorry.
we create the what is DTO, sir? We create the DTO person name and
Yes,
then person email.
yes,
That is all. That is entered into the database. That,
yes.
that
As you can see my database. I'll just zoom it and say you. I gave person ID as my attribute for ID. Person ID is my column name. I
yes,
gave
sir.
my attribute as person email to my EML to my attribute. Person email email is my column name.
Yes,
Whatever
sir.
your attribute name will be the column name. Whatever your class name will be the table name.
Okay, sir. Whatever we put
Yeah.
it in the Java, I mean, what is that Hibernate project? It will enter into the database.
Yes.
So we not
Yes.
create that. We not create the table. We not create that.
No.
Oh, defaultly created like that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Uh, Someone has a query. So today you are a
Hello,
little bit fast. Tomorrow, could you please slow down, sir? Okay,
hello.
Bhavani, did you understood? Yes, Aniket. Yes, Aniket, please.
While creating the persistent.xml file, I'm not able to create,
Yes.
sir.
Why you are not able to create, Aniket?
In that
What
wizard,
is the issue?
I have search XML, but I am not getting it.
No. Maybe your perspective is wrong, or build the project, Aniket. You know how to build the project?
Yes, sir, I have built the project.
I mean, there is something called build path. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Can you see my screen? Here,
Yes.
you have something called build path. Okay, go to build path, and you have something called configure build path. In build path, there is something called configure build path. Go over there, go to order and export. Select order and export. Here,
Yes.
select whatever is unticked. Okay,
Oh,
then
okay.
just say apply. Okay, just apply it and apply and close. Okay, and just try now. If it is not possible, see what type of project you have created. Maybe there is a problem you have created. Maybe you just created the normal Java project also. Did
No,
you
sir, I
create the
have
Maven
created
project?
new project.
Okay, just check it out or create a new project and see. It will happen sometime. It will happen. It is normal. Everyone will get that issues. Create a new project and try. Okay.
Okay, sir.
If you still have problem, you can share the issue in Discord. I'll check it out.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah.
I will
Sneha, you are
try.
telling not understood. Can you please come and speak, Sneha? You are too shy, I feel, to speak. Rupini, almost we finished the class and you are telling what project we have to create, sir. You are listening to class or just kept the Sneha? Yes, Sneha. I want you to speak and ask the question. Okay. Yes. I've just shared the persistent.xml complete code, Tanu, and you're asking to show the persistent.xml file. I just told you in the beginning of Hug. No, you're not audible, Sneha. In the beginning of JDBC itself, I told you I will be going slow in JDBC, but you have to catch the pace in Hibernate and all. If I start doing Hibernate for 2 weeks and servlets for 2 weeks, you will finish this course in 3 months. Sneha, not you're not audible. Okay,
Hello, sir.
what's the issue? Yes, Ravindra.
How to create a persistence file because I'm getting
Sorry,
from them.
sorry, Ravindra. Say again. Come again.
Can you repeat the how to create a persistence XML.xml file?
I think I've said it very clearly. What happened, Ravindra? You didn't
There
get
is
it,
no
or
showing,
you
sir.
you were, huh?
No, sir. I'm not getting.
You're not
I'm
getting.
trying, but I'm not getting, sir.
So what are you trying to do? Where are you creating? How are you creating persistent.xml? Tell me, so I'll correct you.
Uh, Inside the meta.inf, inside new,
Not
select new. After that,
meta.inf. I told you clearly that meta hyphen. There is some person called Sandesh. He has put underscore. Guys, I've repeated again and again. I told you I'm repeating meta hyphen inf. Meta hyphen inf, guys. Okay. And the
Hello.
persistence name should be clear. The spelling mistake should not be.
Hello.
Yes, Ravindra. So yeah, Kushi, you can speak.
Sorry, sir, can you just show me that part, that persistent.xml? Actually, I'm not able to get it because I have disconnected in that between. Only that part.
I'll be sharing you the GitHub link. Okay, copy it from there and paste it. I'm sharing the GitHub link once again, guys. I'm broadcasting it again. So whoever missed the GitHub link can take here. and copy the persistent.xml file from there. And Ravindra had some issue. Is that clear, Ravindra? Sneha, you wanted to speak something. Just
Still, I don't.
see, if you do it properly, it will definitely work.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
not creating the folders properly.
I created, sir, but I can't able to it.
Just take the screenshot, guys. I'm showing you the hierarchy here, how you should create. Exactly, it should be like this only. I'm showing the project hierarchy here. You can see, I think. Take a screenshot of this hierarchy. See, it is meta hyphen inf. Persistence.xml. The spelling should not be wrong. Okay. Take a screenshot. I'm not going to show once again. Sneha, Janathanan, Bhavani, all of you people, we will be repeating this and revising this tomorrow also once again. So don't get late. I'll be starting soon tomorrow the class. You people should not be late. I'm seeing people who are getting who are joining recently now. Just 10 minutes back, someone joined. Don't do that. Don't come only, guys. At the end of the class, if you're coming, it's useless for you only. Just wasting your time. Don't come. Be productive. Learn from somewhere else. You can't understand if you join in the midway. Did you took the screenshot, guys? This is the project hierarchy. Inside inside resources path, you have to create a meta inf folder. Remember, it is a folder. Inside that, you have to create a xml file. Select xml file and create a file called persistence. Okay, xml file. It is a xml file. I'm repeating once and once again. Here people will do wrong, do mistake again and again. They will do, I know. Okay, so be careful and take this screenshot also. I'll be zooming out. Take this screenshot also. Yeah, take a screenshot of this also. Try at home, try to do insert operation. Don't get confused with the comments I have put for your reference. Okay, I'm giving you 10 seconds so that everyone can follow up. 10 seconds, guys. Just take a screenshot. Okay, I'll be moving up. Take a screenshot of this also. Just go through this. Do this today itself. It's a very small thing. Just few steps. Do this today itself, guys. Okay, just go through it. You'll understand. It's very simple. If you go through it once, you will understand. You don't need a trainer to say all these things. It's a very easy topic. Okay, don't worry. Yeah, hope you took this and take a screenshot of this also if you need. I'll just add a comment for you people here, specifying primary key. Okay, I'm just specifying primary key with the at the rate ID annotation. Okay, hope you took the screenshot. 10 seconds for you. And getters and setters, obviously, you know, I don't think you need a screenshot for this. If you need, you can take a screenshot of it.
Sir,
And by tomorrow, I want you people to learn. Assignment is for today. You have to uh, make a note of the difference between JPA and Hibernate. Okay, go through what is JPA and what is Hibernate, what they are doing. Okay, I want you to note the difference between JPA and Hibernate. Okay, and I want you to know about the methods provided by entity manager and entity transaction. What are these methods doing? I want you to be on clear on these topics so that you can cope for tomorrow's class. What are the assignment? I'm telling you again. You have to know what are the methods provided by entity manager and entity transaction. What are they doing? You should be knowing. Okay, and I want you to know what is. I'll be giving the JDBC notes. Don't worry in the Discord. Okay. And I want you to know who is what is this persistent.xml file. I want you to know what is that persistent.xml file. I've explained very well. I think no one would explain persistent.xml. If you have listened to others classes, I am pretty sure they would not have explained persistent.xml file. Okay, so I've taught you that also. And that's it for today, guys. The assignment is, Vinod, I told you that dialect is pre-configured. It is some address in order to get connected to Hibernate technology. Okay, don't go in depth. You are suffering to understand these things only. Some people. Okay, if you want a whiteboard, guys, in whiteboard, I have not written things clearly. So if you want, you can take. It's not exactly the same thing. Okay. If you want, you can take a screenshot of it. No issues. Okay. Hope you took the screenshot. Mm, okay. The handwriting is not that clear. If you want, you can take, guys. Sorry for the handwriting.
Sir.
Just be a little loud. I can't hear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If
Sir,
you want to take
only
us, yes, yes.
primary key only using at the annotation at ID. Without primary key, we not use that.
You cannot create a table without primary key. That is
Yes, sir.
one thing. So whenever you are
Okay,
trying
sir.
to create a table for that particular class, say I want to create a table for this person class. Okay. If I want to create for the create a what if I want to create a table for this person class, I should define a primary key. Without a primary key, how can you create a table? It is not possible at all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
That is why
And
you
then,
specify at the rate ID above the attribute that you want to make it as a primary key.
okay, sir. Sir, primary key means not null and then a unique, sir. And then, sir,